large language modeling in art. Ask the large language model machine to assemble all these pixels, that is non-fungible tokens that were associated with, suppose I made an art using Midjourney. In my later life, I have gone all over the world to see the famous art museums, understand there is a lot of demand for art. There are various people who are doing fantastic work in AI art. In fact, there is one person who is coming from Istanbul, I forget his name, even the latest issue of Economist, it talks about how he is making absolutely new kind of large language modeling in art. As we all know, large language model or LLM, which is ChatGPT, which is pre-trained transformative artificial intelligence that we all use in ChatGPT and AI assistants and Gemini and co-pilots of the day. What it does is it predicts the next letters that are most probably to come after each word, and they do it in batches. So what this gentleman artist was doing is that he took a large number of portraits and he kind of digitally cut it into a large number of pieces, millions of pieces, and then asked the large language model machine to assemble all these pixels together so as to again reform the portraits. Of course, there were never the same portraits from which these pixels were drawn up. These were completely non-existent kind of portraits that were again assembled by the large language model, and another signal would also use the computational resources to make another set of completely new human beings from the pixelated fragments of actual human beings' portrait. So these were very, very exciting things that are going on. And I also learned of NFTs, that is non-fungible tokens, that were associated with digital AI art. Digital AI art, I came to know two main foundational after ChatGPT. One is DALL-E, one is Midjourney. These also, and then there are various derivatives out of it, lots of apps, but basically these two models are fundamental models, Midjourney and DALL-E, the latest version that converts text into AI art. Now, when these arts are being done, of course, there was another concern about misinformation and fake videos, but many of these original arts were therefore stamped with to prevent forgery and duplication with NFT, that is non-fungible tokens, that is used in blockchain. So these non-fungible tokens can actually prove the ownership, and it can be traded in the internet and a lot of way. It can be sold to the global audience, much like what we buy from the Amazon to own original digital art pieces. But when I wanted to kind of burn my fingers into it, I was faced with a lot of difficulties. The difficulty number one was to get these NFTs, that will prove that your art remains associated with you, requires a lot of initial money. You have to buy what is known as the gas. What is the gas? I came to understand. You have to buy a few cryptocurrencies, mostly from Ethereum network, so that the NFT world can mint the coin that will be associated with the art that you have produced, so that it is non-duplicable. Now, to get this NFT, therefore, suppose I made an art using Midjourney, and then to associate the NFT, I would have to spend a lot of money. And then too, I was not sure that this kind of NFTs could actually get me money or not. The reason was I was not skeptical about my abilities. I thought if somebody can make art using algorithms, using DALL-E, using Midjourney, or using Adobe, or using Photoshop or other such softwares, I could also learn to use it. Mind you, I had a very keen interest in art from my childhood. I used to study issues from National Geographic magazine that sometimes carried stories with beautiful pictures of famous Impressionist art, Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Monet, and so many others. And in my later life, I have gone all over the world to see the famous art museums in Louvre, in Montparnasse, in MoMAs across the world, in Van Gogh Museum. I have a great affinity towards art. I like to admire art and try to wonder why one art has become so famous. What is in it that people have seen? Why not another art drawn by another artist is gaining public popularity? So when I had before, because I knew the world of classical art and abstract art fairly well from a purely audience point of view, I knew that using technologies I would be able to do fairly good amount of artwork. But then to invest in making an NFT and trying to do that would be very, very risky proposition. Why? Not because only of the investment. I could always draw upon my savings or borrow it from my friends and family. But the problem was that there are so many experts who had already been doing this for a long time, and I dare say they are much more experts in using technology than I am. I would therefore reason that it is quite futile for me to suddenly enter the world of digital art and NFTs and try to compete with thousands and millions of people across the world who are already doing such things for months and months. Mind you, it's not years and years. ChatGPT itself came into this world in November 2022, that is, today is 2024, just 2 years back. Within 3 months' time, as we all know, it reached 100 million users. It is said in a span of 3 months, the fastest growing use of ChatGPT happened by January 31. There were 100 million users. Now it is estimated it is 200 million. It is said that no consumer company in the world has ever reached such audience proportions, such huge expansion in numbers. I mention this because anybody who was already running before me in creating AI art could at best have been November 22, that is only 1 or 2 years ahead of me. In fact, when I started, it was just 6 months ahead of me. So I would have to just run a little more faster so that I could catch up with them. But I was busy doing my work, and I didn't also have so much time also. Besides the 6 months lead time, I didn't have so much time. So I thought of a new domain in which I could use AI to bring art into the drawing room of people. And it is there that I studied the market of photography and art in the world. In the world means in Kolkata, in the neighborhood that I live in. And I tried to reason and I tried to find out as to who buys art. Of course, one is a very, very authentic, suppose. And the technician almost laughed at my face. The problem that you usually get from DALL-E and Midjourney, but I bring it to the physical world, and this is, I think, very few people in the whole world is doing. In Jogin Chaudhary, for example, one art, he is a very famous painter, he is a former member of the parliament, and understand there is a lot of demand for art. It is in this domain I started concentrating in. To say that most people these days are staying in which Jogin Chaudhary would make his next painting on. I didn't know how to expand this. So what does anybody do? I searched Google, I searched ChatGPT.